Yeah, I hear you. We're not live yet, are we? Oh, it hasn't updated yet for the Smite Little League. Now we are. Okay. Now we're good. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. We're just waiting for the semifinals to start. The lobby's been made. So we're going to be bringing you Optimal Kraken versus our coach's AFK. As far as seeding goes, our coach's AFK is the number 1 seed in the tournament overall. I'm going to be co-casting with my actual team's coach, Zoel.
Hello, people. Nice to be here.
And we are currently waiting on the rest of our coach's AFK to hop in. So in the meantime, I guess we can just go through predictions.
I think that Optimal Kraken, that guy's been ubiquitous for that team for me for so long, being against him. I feel they're going to run it through mid again. I feel that's been their main strategy this entire set, and I feel they're going to put a lot of pressure in mid, let Solo do his thing unless they're going to steal a blue, and try to, run it back.
I mean, it definitely works. And the whole theory of putting the pressure on early in the mid lane and in the jungle allows you to start to create disadvantages in the game. And by creating those disadvantages, you start to get your small wins like mid camp control, ward pressure, red buff invades. And that's something that we saw Kraken start to feel at home doing by the middle to end of game 2. Now, I've only seen Team 6 in scrims, but Team 6 plays very aggressive and they play very heavily through their jungle. So I'm really interested to see how these kind of two play styles are going to clash.
So do you feel that Team 6 is going to run a early game jungle and try to pressure them out that way?
I'm expecting something along the lines of like a Bakasura and Naja. Team 6's coach is Panda, and Panda plays a very hyper aggressive early game. And he also likes to bring in like some hyper carry gods like Akali and Ao Kwang. So I'm assuming that he's instituted his play style in their jungler, and I could only assume that they're gonna play a similar way, which means heavy pressure in mid, ganks to the dual lane to build leads early. Maybe we'll see even a speed to red start or something like that possibly coming out. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's been a while since we've seen that at any high level of play. It'd be interesting to see it here. One thing I am concerned about is if we see a Baka in the jungle or a Bakasura, I mean, Optimal Kraken has dealt with that quite effectively.
They did a very good job locking down the Baka, and that was actually from the Ganesh also. The Ganesh had a very it's a unique pick. It's not something that you see very often, but the execution on it was great. Enclave played a great Ganesha. The silences were so effective. Bakasura would either blink into a team fight, into the Dharmic Pillars, or he'd blink in, he'd ult, after that CC immunity, immediately silence. He's then stuck in the fight. It forced him into Magi's multiple games. It forced his relics early, and he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I have to admit, like, we're talking about the defensive potential of Ganesha, but I mean, those Dharmic Pillars were sometimes on the offense, like, putting one person and isolating him from the rest of the team, right? Now, partly I feel one of the reasons that they were so effective at countering the Bakasura is that Bakasura was very aggressive. He'd peek around, when they're sieging Phoenix, trying to peek around. He'd lose his Magi's cloak all the time. I mean, very dangerous. He died twice by himself at like the middle of the lane, if I'm aware.
They did and honestly, it comes down to there was great execution both times with taking off the Magi's, forcing beads when it comes in again, and after forcing out the beads, you create a situation where now if Bakasura wants to continue to split the team up and create pressure, he's gambling. He's got to either gamble his ult if Naja doesn't immediately ult him off the sash, or he needs to just simply you can't provide that flank anymore. The flank is gone. It allows you to refocus, and then Bakasura has no beads. And what we saw finally happen was that Sash hit under the Phoenix, and he ulted right off of him under Phoenix game one because he knew there's simply nowhere to go. The guy's
Mm-hmm.
dead, the ult's guaranteed, and that risk factor is gone.
And then when you take that person out of the fight, the rest of your team can collapse on a. I mean, yeah, it's a 4v4, but it's a 4v4 with Fire Giant, right? Where that person who's in the air is like guaranteed to be dead.
I mean,
Now,
go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if they're going to run the Neja again. I would not be surprised. I really like the Neja, but I would like to see something different. We know this man can play Neja. I want him to see that the enemy's going to ban it and choose something else, plan some other way to run it through mid.
Well,
What would
kind
you be
of.
doing in this situation?
Well, what I would be doing is if the Naja is working and the games and things are going your way, you want there to actually you want them to ban. You want them to go ahead. You want them to waste that ban in most likely the second round of bans because obviously there's gods right now that demand more attention than the Naja. But forcing out that ban, or maybe even for forcing it into a first round slot, opens up more potential. If you create a situation where it says, I will play this god, take it away from me, or I'm going to take it, it puts pressure on the enemy team for the game even starts.
Yeah, and that can be very, very hard for the team. Like, you don't want to ban this god because, like, realistically, it's not the highest tier god, but at the same time, it's doing so much. And one thing we can all note is that was a very, like, utility build on the Neja, right? If you're playing that sort of playstyle, you could easily play a rat, which, in my opinion, is far more aggressive and a lot harder to deal with than the Neja.
100%. Rat also brings the strategy of altering his start by buying that acorn, going over the wall, and then picking up a cheeky kill in mid that opens up the red invade.
And the
That
threat of it
triples
is
the
just as
yeah.
good.
Well, that's the other thing is that it changes the way you clear the wave. You cannot clear equally with your lane opponent. You usually have to hug your red side back left of the wave to clear it and avoid the gank. And 9 out of 10 times, if you're playing a god that doesn't have that equal pressure in lane or has more pressure, let's say, than the enemy, the threat of that gank will actually mitigate your pressure early and make you play on the defensive.
Yeah, which can be very dangerous for a mid laner because you play defensively, you might lose your red. And that
Yeah,
can be lead to like mid camps and overall the enemy just winning the lane until late game where he's just going to do more because he's been ahead this entire game.
the alternative that we've seen is what will happen is you'll generally sometimes you'll start your support in mid. So
Oh
then you
yes.
can clear effectively, and then you could go and get your own buff or potentially even invade. The Rat is very unlikely to be able to contend with a Guardian level 1 and a mid laner going in through that angle by blinking in, because he's going to obviously take, at most times, going to take some aggro from remaining minions on top of it. So it kind of mitigates what you're going to do. To respond to this, obviously, you can go and invade the again. You can go and invade the enemy red since they start in their Guardian in mid. But if it's gonna go that far, it's gonna be like a chess game at that point to see who gets ahead and who doesn't.
Yes, because there's always that jungler rotating through, and then you could put pressure on purple. There's a lot to be done. That's what makes games like this so interesting, in my opinion. Like the mind game before the game. What am I gonna do to stop a gank?
All
Oh,
right,
okay.
so we're gonna with the lobby is being put back up, so we're gonna requeue to spectate right now. Um, maybe we're ready to go now, but in the meantime,
I'm queued.
yeah, we are. I'm really expecting the fight and the control is going to be over mid. That's where everything I think is going to be determined one way or the other.
Yes,
It's,
especially with Optimal Kraken, the way they do things. It
yeah,
seems to put lots of pressure on mid, let solo do solo things. Duo lane, that man knows his Cupid. He just plays that Cupid and he plays it well. right? Using that ult to push out the enemy, right? Not even to kick kills sometimes. And then late game, he just puts his ult on everyone, and you got to deal with that.
We also saw that they are not afraid to they're not afraid to pick that Cupid in the first part of the draft.
Oh yeah, which is an impressive move in my opinion. I mean, they value it that highly, and they're like, okay, we know this man can do it. Okay, like on this guy, it's worth it. It's worth getting it this first pick because if it's banned out, then we're gonna have some problems. And I don't think you want to use a first ban on a Cupid. Like, okay, we're finally in. This is nice.
We're in. It looks like Team 6, being the first seed, will have Order Side. Freya ban, this is very common. This shows me, though, that there is not a Freya player on the Order side, or they have a plan where it revolves around not using the Freya, because it's almost a guaranteed free ban someone will have to use on that. We got a response of the Erlang ban. Strong jungler, not as strong as he used to be, but still definitely ban worthy. The Pele ban, and then we get a Rat ban. So the focus is on the jungle already. We can see what these guys do. They obviously know how each other play, and they know what they can't let through. There's the first pick on the Naja, taken away from Verdrell.
Which I find interesting. Now, do you think they were watching the enemy's games and seeing how much they prioritize this Neja, or do you think that this is just a nice pick for them and that's what they're going to build their team around?
This is definitely a best of both worlds situation, 100%, because Team 6, the playstyle of Naja fits perfectly to them. And we come across with the Janice. Janice has been picked, but right here, I want to see something. I want to see a high pressure. I want to see high pressure and a flex pick here. I would love to see honestly, give me an RDO, give me a Terra. Fenrir's open.
I like the RDO specifically to take it away from the enemy.
There's the RDO right there.
There we go. Yeah, Janice has a hard time against RDO. That cripple field can be devastating. Plus, I mean, their solo laner has already shown that they can use RDO effectively.
Exactly. If I'm them right here, I'm definitely taking an Odin. Odin is a must for me right here if I'm Team 6. Because the Odin creates situations where not only RDO can be isolated and blown up, but she also, if Janice does not position correctly in the lane, he actually cannot get away from the cage. There's nothing he can do. You can't portal out of the cage. You pull the floor, you're gonna die.
You have to make yourself self-aware of where you're positioning.
I would really love to see the Odin here with the X-Ball.
It'd be nice clear too in the lane. Make it so you're not really afraid of much. Early aggression as well with the bolas from Shibolanke, making it really easy to push people out.
Let's see what they opt in for here.
Down to the wire, it seems. Going into bank time.
I'm assuming there's multiple options in the table they're interested in. They elect for the Kumbhakarna. Now,
it's a lot of banishes.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a lot of abilities to, and there's the Cupid in the top 3. The Kumba gives a lot of ability to reposition the map, but what the Kumba doesn't do, they don't have tons of essential, like, quote-unquote, lockdown. They have immediate follow-up off of lockdown, but the Odin, because we know they're going to value the Cupid, the Odin could have been a great pick that could have done both. Odin's still on the table here, by the way. I expect to get banned out in this laning phase.
You'd have to. We're first pick, second phase.
And now we have the Raijin ban. That's definitely, Raijin is a high priority mid laner, 100%.
Okay, so
there's the Odin ban. Immediate Odin ban. They know exactly what they don't want to deal with, and it's the Odin, and they have no intention of running it themselves.
Okay, so, I'm expecting a high burst mage. If in this team, that's what I want, right? Someone who can easily go off the Neja, off the Kumbhakarna. And
yeah,
we could have a Neja support and a Kumbhakarna solo, which would be interesting.
That's definitely a possibility. If I'm them, I'm looking to ban out it has to be a mid laner that has pressure early. I would look, honestly, as much as it's a little bit awkward right now, I would ban out maybe like a Scylla. There's Poseidon, similar situation. Knock up, big ultimate, good setup on the ground. And And now we go into the final ban. This is gonna be that's the Fenrir ban. Okay. Right now it's the Chaos side. They have the first pick of the second round.
What do you think they're looking at here?
Uh I would love honestly to see right now the an Athena could be great, a Terra could be great. There's so much right now that can be set up. You can grab a jungler here. They have their jungler, so right now I would take something that's a little bit more contested because we're not really sure where that Kumba's going, like you said. So I would definitely lock in my I'd probably grab Terra here, in all honesty.
I really like the Terra pick. I feel like Ardio's gonna have an easy
And
time.
they're
Oh,
electric for
Thor!
sure. Okay, so there are two global pressure ultimates already coming out.
It's been a while since we've seen Thor. I like it, personally because it's not doesn't have much flex, but Thor can be a support as well, right? It makes the enemy continue to guess.
The other thing that I'm looking at right here is we have the Agni's being hovered. Now Agni, high pressure mage, gives you the classic uh good kill potential early in the game. Agni will win the laning phase against Janus 100% of the time. He's very good kill potential on him. And Thor does not have the easiest time ganking an Agni.
Yeah, it's gonna be very dangerous, and it's pretty easy for Agni to get out. Unless he's cut off with that wall, which is a possibility. I also like the Agni because it's nice long range, stuns, which can get at early
Ooh, the
Magi's.
Ares cover.
Ooh,
Oh, he's going
okay.
back to the Ganesh.
I like the Ganesh, nice and solid. How
Well,
do you
it's
think that laning phase is gonna go, though?
with the Ganesh Cupid, they are going to have a lot of pressure in that lane. There's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of pressure. That heart bomb amplified by Ganesh's, I believe it's called Turns of Fate, the one. It is really going to be, there's going to be a lot of pressure early in that lane. The one very interesting thing is the Thor ult, when you're up in the air, actually makes it very easy to target and find people through X-Ball ult.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, because you completely bypass that circle on the
Yeah.
ground. Okay, and then you can talk to your team about what's happening as well. That's an interesting counter pick that I hadn't really thought of.
So on paper, what do you like better, Zoel? What are you favoring?
Honestly, I'm favoring Optimal Kraken just because I know this team can work for them. Like, I don't know about the Thor, but the rest are all solid picks for the people who are playing it. Now, if I was just, coming to this game first thing, not knowing any of the players, I'd have to go with the Agni side. Our coach is AFK because I love the setup between Neja and Kumbhakarna. Right, straight into 3 bombs, that person's dead. I just don't know how else it would go.
There's a lot of setup. The only thing that kind of gets a little dicey is there's not tons of setup in traditional senses of the word. There's a lot of disruption, which, if not communicated properly, can definitely make Agni's job a little bit more difficult than it has to be. I'm a fan of the Naja. I'm a fan of the Kumba, but together there's a lot of
There's a lot that could go wrong. Taking
yeah.
people out of damage. I see what you mean. I really like the Sobek pick for like general lockdown because you were talking about that earlier. And Sobek will you either run from it or you just take that 1,000 damage, right? It has that slow, it makes a team fight very difficult, and he has those damage mitigations throughout. Now, do you think that's gonna affect how do you believe that they're gonna rotate that solo in? Do you think it's gonna be early for that, early gank, or do you think they're just gonna let him be?
Well, it has to. What it really happens is it's going to have to be a dynamic where there has to be kind of an understanding of what's going on. If Papa Mall's struggling in the laning phase, which on paper Janus will against the Agni, then rotating the Sobek in early to continue amplifying that pressure, looking for gold furies, looking for those picks around red. It could be a really, really rough day for the Janus in mid against that team comp very easily.
I think the Sobek pick is going to rely totally on how well he can do his plucks. right?
Oh yeah.
You know, like if those plucks are on point, you're going to have a very hard time. If you're plucked away from a wall, it's hard for Janus, right? If Cupid's plucked, he has to use that dash, and it's not the longest dash in the world. Like, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
potential here. I was just thinking about it, and Vendril, like, he can play very tanky with this character too, more of a utility. I feel that's like his specialty, utility jungles,
Yeah.
right? He plays them very well. He wants to help out his team, unleash the burst from Janus, make it easy for that Cupid to ult, right? Now, I don't. It might suffer later in the game where Neja has just so much more damage. He can take out any carry
Uh,
just instantly with the ult.
all right, so we're hopping in right now. We're gonna take a minute, pause, sync everyone up, and then we're gonna get this going.
I'm at 124.
Let's just sync up at like 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're muted, right?
No, at 1 minute, I think.
Yeah, we'll start. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're bringing you the semifinals, the first match of semifinals for the Smite Little League Season 2. We currently have a 5-man grouping out of our coach's AFK. Right now, this could be for multiple reasons. One, this could be for just warding and establishing control. But what they're actually going for is they are going to sit behind this wall. I guess they're not. They're going to go right through it. They're going right for the top side. Speaking, Janice has no idea. Sickening Strike, that's an easy first blood.
My god.
And it goes to the jungler. That's huge. Now they back. That's extra gold in his pocket. That could not have that could not have been more of a hard situation to bounce back from. The good news is it's before minions spawn. Typically, when you see that gank, you wait until about 17 seconds when the minions cross that gap between the tier 2 and Phoenix, and then you'll go through. You can actually go and get the buff and the kill then. But that definitely puts Flipsy in the driver's seat for this game. Exactly what they want to come out here and do.
And I feel it puts Papa Mall in a very hard position mentally, right? Like, it's very hard to come back from that. The early pressure can be very, very bad for the psyche.
Yeah, it puts a god that doesn't exactly do the best early in the game in more of a situation where he is now has to deal with that. There you go. Agni starting with the flame wave. In mid, Agni is definitely going to get the level 2 first here.
Do you feel he's going to take advantage of that to try for an early kill, or no? He's just going back for his red.
There's not really kill potential by doing that, but what it does do is Agni's able to go do his red now easily. It forces the Janus to stay in mid and clear. And this also opens up left side mids for them and rights. They should be able to get. It looks like they split that 1-1.
No, I believe
Flipsy
got both of them. I was watching him at the time.
So now they can contest red and mid camps right here in mid lane.
I hesitate to fight Ninja in the mid camps. It's very difficult to get
That
through.
one was a split, but there's a lot of poke over there onto Agni. It looks like
Yeah.
red team's just gonna go pick up the buff now, and they're gonna reset for a bit. Over in duo lane, we have the Ganesh and the Cupid are being pressured out right now. The X-Ball commits him with the dive, but Naja's here. Great ring bounce from Flipsy and the sash. That's a double kill. Great gank from Flipsy. That was 100% heads up play. That sash was great. That ring was great. That's exactly the start they need now. That was a great play.
And Shibalonki's a late game god. The least thing you want is him to get pressure in the lane
Exactly.
and get there. That level 5 can be particularly strong as well.
Solo side, we just have, it looks like Space is getting the best of this lane. This is typical. Ardio is a bully, and Sobek he wants to get things online. Once he gets the boots online, gets a tier 1, tier 2 of a defensive item, he is, honestly, there's a pluck into the tower. Ardio should be fine here. Uses the dash, but still relatively safe.
It does equal out the lane, though. Makes it a lot easier for Sobek to have pressure.
It does make Sobek easier to sustain out and get to that point in the game where he can handle the lane with relative ease and safety. Ardio's going to have pressure for about another 3 levels, though, until Sobek can really start to clear.
Oh, it looks like there's a gank coming in.
Oh, the sash just off the mark. The ring bounce is good, though.
I think that dash takes him out.
Yeah, he's safe.
Very unfortunate. That sash was right off. Just lick that Ardio.
Things are starting to stabilize a bit now. We've had a really, really intense first couple minutes compared to the last set. Team 6 is coming out there, and they're ready to just put balls to the wall and see what happened here. Right now, this is Flipsy's game right now.
This might be a kill on this Janice.
Janice ult is not used. He's able to pull out to safety at relative ease. This red buff could easily be contested, though. They're coming in to contest. Naja does not have ult yet. And they'll back out. The important thing is the timer was cleared. So they are aware of the timer for that next red buff. We can definitely look for an invade there. That's definitely going to be a situation that I'm assuming, just by the way they're playing, they're going to look for that invade at around 5:45.
Especially that Agni, right? Those early stuns can be deadly. Now, I noticed that it looks like Optimal Kraken has ward control right now. 3 wards on the map already. We don't see that too often, 3 wards this early in the game.
Well, the big thing that's coming out is they are warding because they are on the defensive at this point.
Oh, Agni.
Agni,
almost.
Just Agni gets out again. Again, though, that's where it comes down to. Agni is not easy to lock down and gank. He's a very defensive character in what he can do. Thor does have ult now. Agni did dash. It looks like he's going to be out. Thor's going to make sure they get their buffs. And it looks like they're going to be a reset right now.
It would have been risky, but I would have really liked the Thor ult on that Agni. I think it was almost a guaranteed death on that. Like, you probably would have died in return, but setting back that Agni back when your Janice, he's not the most pressure early, right?
No.
So any little help he can get.
Let's take a look at the gold charts right now. Let's look at the gold per minute. Let's see who's doing what here. It looks like right now Flipsy has a commanding gold per minute lead over just about everyone.
Well, that Ninja clear combined with that early kill, first blood is very important.
There's the invade on the red. They get the red, but Agni uses his dash. Thor's ulting for him. There's not really any position for follow-up here, though. I don't think Thor can go in on this safely. Thor misses the ult. The wall's good. Kumba Mez, Janice ult. 1 bomb down, stun down. This should be a disengage now. Good invade. That was a great invade coming out from our coach's AFK.
That ult just barely hit Dong. I hate that name. Barely hit him and made it so he had to back out, right? I feel like if he was just a little bit more in. That's a potential kill on that Thor.
We have pressure over here, right mids.
I noticed it's a 2-on-3, but they still come out with a little bit of poke and damage.
That was a really good Ganesha ult to disengage that fight.
I'm loving these Ganesha ults. This man has shown us that he can use those effectively for both peel and aggress. It's an interesting ult. Looks like he's just trying to poke at that Cupid and try to kill him.
So Expo did ult over there now. So what that does, that creates a little bit of breathing room in mid. Especially with that red buff coming out, that gives Kraken a little bit more of a safety net, knowing that ult can't potentially. With 2 bombs on Ganesh, Ganesh dashes out.
Did Neja invade speed?
No, Naja is looking to invade right now. Naja is pressuring. That's an ult on the Ardio. Do they have enough?
That's 3 people there just to kill this Ardio. I think
it's enough. Nope, that's a great med. That was a great med and a great follow-up off that sash. Flipsy again, killing spree. And Ardio is very dependent on that blue buff. Taking away that blue buff puts her in a situation where she's either going to need jungle assistance or she's going to have to invest in a little bit of mana pots till she can get item invades online. And now we have Agni again, steals away the red buff.
And walks out. Looks like he's getting out clean. Nothing's happening.
There's no punishment. There's no ability to punish.
And now... look at blue team, right? Wards everywhere, right? Now they have ward control. They can effectively go into the enemy jungle and they know what's going to happen. Though, red has a ward on their own red, so they're going to be there next time it pops up. That or, they're just going to watch it happen.
I mean, note the Agni's build. Agni did not elect for the classic... Oh, over here we have a fight breaking out in right mid. Flipsy's being forced out. He should be out with no trouble. So back to the penetration, Agni's going to rush into the Spear of the Magus second, and once he has that done, he is going to have the potential to 100-0 any character right now in this game with a simple, the gank coming left, Thor is up, Thor ult connects, X-Ball stunned, that was a great CC chain, great follow-up, great play from Kraken to finally get on the board.
You can see the trust Kraken has in their teammates. They just layer everything on top of each other, knowing that it's all going to hit.
They're pulling the Gold Fury. They're aware of this. Kumba comes in to stop. Flipsy's looking for a target. Ring toss is good. They still have at least. Sobek is here, though.
Ardio's here as well. Oh, it looks like Ardio's going to fall.
Yep, Ardio is down. X-Ball ult is expended. Janice has to lead the fight. Ganesha is caught, so is Thor. Double kill for Flipsy.
Oh my god, Flipsy's just murdering people today.
Triple kill for Flipsy.
Now they're going to pick up the gold.
That is a Gold Fury with there's no ability to contest.
Where do you think it went wrong there?
What happened was they expended ults to get that pick without through space and time, without Fields of Love. You don't have the ability to take these fights and win them in a realistic fashion compared to a god like Agni, who has so much easy damage to put out. Kumba could set him up. Naja ring bouncing into the team like that is shredding protections. It's destroying people. You cannot take fights when you're behind into a Gold Fury where you have to take the damage from tanking it, secure it, and then you have to survive the enemy who has every single ultimate still up. That was a great capitalization from Team 6.
No wards to cover for the solo lane, Sobek specifically coming through, makes it so I don't know if they knew he was coming. I mean, the Ardio was there, but believe he got there early.
Ardio's gonna get caught over here on this blue buff.
Oh my god.
Steal it away. The pluck is good, but Sash at the same time. That's gonna mess up their kill potential here. That's really unfortunate.
And she can just run away. Right?
Through space and time is used, though. That's a huge ultimate that Team 6 has to keep in mind now. They can start to pressure this Pyromancer.
And Ardio still has low mana. She's going to have a very hard time fighting this Sobek with that.
Gank over there. X-Ball ult is not even used. No ultimates are used over there. And Panda uses his ult defensively. Thor ult is also down. Thor's in this fight. Thor picks up one. Beads used on Thor. Can he clean this up? He should be able to clean this up. Good job from Verdrell, pressuring the opposite side of the map. That's exactly what you want to do. They're pressuring solo side, you pressure duo side. Granted, it cost the life of the ADC, and Maul falls in the process, but it's getting yourself back into the game.
I believe that ADC would have died anyway.
Yeah.
One thing I am concerned about, though, is that Janus ult. Right? Waste. Ooh. Okay, no. I believe they got the red. Yeah, it looks like they got the red. Stole it away again. That is very good pressure on that side of the map. Getting it consistently. I do not believe they've gotten a single red since the first one.
Yeah, they got timer on it ever since they've been all over it.
And some aggressive ward placement, too, meaning they know it's going to be safe. They have vision on everybody. This Cupid's playing pretty aggressive. I'm guessing to put a ward up. And that ward's going to go down. Now, as a mid laner, what do you want to do as Janus here?
So, right now, I mean, that was Agni Beads off that double tap. That almost certainly would have connected. Right now, as Janus, so you went Book of Thoth. You've heavily committed to this power and mana build. What you need to do is you need to get to a situation where you can get Threshold and Unstable Vortex to create situations where you can poke safely. But in order to do that, there has to be some kind of control, which they do have in mid with the wards. So you try to pick up your mid camps, you wait for the next team fight, which is probably going to be around Pyro. If it's not around Pyro, you stall out, wait for Gold Fury. Janus scales very well. We have a fight breaking out in mid. The Thor wall is good. The double tap just short.
If that double tap went through, that is easily a third of that Neja's health. Right? Making it a lot easier to engage, making it so that Neja can't blink in as effectively. Now, why is Thor going to duo? Interesting. He passed over a ward. Just putting a little bit of pressure, I'm guessing. Now they're going to confirm their own red. Oh, but it looks like a fight's going to break out.
Ardio did back, though, so Ardio's not here for this. So the best thing to do is get the ward back up. Ganesha seems to be aggressing, though. And we have retaliation. Bomb stun is down. This is just... Flipsy's here. Now things get interesting. Thor ult down.
Oof.
Ooh, and they return the kill. Support for support. Overall favoring Kraken.
Now, do you believe they could have done that any cleaner? Or was that
with the fact that Space had backed, if Space stayed, there's definitely a chance to mitigate some of the loss that Kraken had. But not having that man up advantage and being down, that honestly is a huge win for them. Gold Fury spawning very shortly, and Team 6 has firm ward control on that side of the map, and Fire Giant.
Which is going to start meaning more, especially as those pyros start going down and late game starts coming around.
I mean, a lot of it just comes down to the fact that they're against a double global composition. They're smart. They have to have these areas warded. What you don't know with this comp can kill you very easily. So Team 6 is taking the perfect approach right now to deal with this global pressure composition. Right now, they're
looks like an audio rotation. Just putting a ward on Pyro. Maybe catching Neja out at mids.
Neja can be forced out here defensively.
He might die here. No?
No.
He has his ult up
still able to hold on to the ult, too. That's really good awareness from him to understand the damage Ardio can put out.
In a very scary position, because Ardio being on top of you bear form is not fun.
Yeah. So right now, Flipsy's going to take it back as he knows that gold came up, and he's going to get ready, probably head over there in position for a team fight. Right now we have
again, rotating
Kraken securing their red. This time it won't be contested. This was like one of the first times they're actually able to pick this up with relative ease.
Both solos on the gold side of the map.
Thor's hammer is down. No one's
Ardio heading back to solo.
This is a really interesting thing. We've seen Space be the proactive one on rotations. As Thor's rooted, and there's no follow-up off of that. Cupid's coming in this fight at a very awkward angle. He
could
very
easily get
careful
collapsed
he
on.
doesn't get turned around on. That's his dash defensively. They're on gold now. Gold's being picked up. They've zoned very well with this Kumba and Sobek. Thor's up. Thor ult is short. Team 6 picks it up easily. Thor cleans up
Shibalaki dies for it.
Thor wall. Ganesh gets out. And overall... Oh, Thor goes back in. He's trying to pick up Flipsy. The good Aegis. That was a great Aegis and a great bait coming out of him. Kumba should be in some trouble here. Agni Dash was also used. Kumba dash down. Thor's cutting him off. He doesn't know Thor's there.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, the great Kumba ult.
Kumba ult, CC immunity, but
great. That was a great play, saying, you know what, you might kill him, but I'm gonna punish you for doing that. You threw your hammer, I'm gonna make you pay for it. During this whole time, Space pushed down the tier 2. Now that's 2,000 gold total going towards their team. And that's
permanent objectives.
That's a permanent objective, exactly. The Gold Fury is not. So while the gold gain comes out about the same, you have Flipsy goes down, the tier 2 goes down, and the tier 1 we have a pause, and they lose the X ball.
And the red went down as well.
So overall, you have it's a massive win for Kraken. The gold grass are starting to show a comeback a little bit, and XP's almost evened out. Now we're unpausing now. Still a big XP lead in mid though.
And mentally, that has to be hard. I mean, you just lost a 5-on-4. Like, how do you reconcile that? I mean, on paper, they definitely should have won there. I feel that they let the Shibalaki tank far too long, and that was the doom of him.
Basically, it comes down to that same thing that we saw Kraken do when they tried to pull it. There has to be a managing of the Gold Fury's DPS output as they're pulling Pyro. We'll go back to that in a second. Thor's up. Thor's down.
That's 2-man stun. Double tap, it looks like.
He's going to be thrown out. Janus ult. Janus is in. Kumba ult used. Sobek is caught in the pillars.
Sobek
the portal's good.
Oof. That's
Shell
nice
is used a little bit late. Flipsy commits back in, and he's taken out by Papa Maul.
I feel that was a little bit suspect on Flipsy. There's no reason to go in there.
Yeah, it was a little bit greedy, but what it comes down to is Flipsy's feeling himself. The guy is literally putting his team and saying, you know what, I got this game. I'm going to pick this up. As Agni's coming up to contest the Pyro again, they know they're here. They're very much aware. Thor's looking the zone. Thor went the... Thor...
It's a dead Ganesha.
Yeah.
Thor's damage is good, but those bombs are even better.
Agni Aegis is used.
If I'm this Janus, I'm having a hard time.
He's caught, yeah. And there goes Papa Maul.
Aegis was also used there, correct?
Aegis was used there, yeah, early.
Yeah, I feel that was
Cupid there feels a little down. That's a very impactful rotation. This is just becoming a bloodbath.
It's just rotation on rotation
Cupid
on rotation.
Aegis is a bit late. Flipsy's coming back though. They have got to get out of here before he gets here. Give up to Pyromancer. There's not much you can do. Honestly.
Who won this? I feel like it was our coach's AFK. I mean, they just got the Pyro.
They got important relics. They got an objective. And what had happened was Thor went to zone. He had two ways he had to zone. Either through the mid, because bottom mid is not warded by then that ward in the middle will not cover the entryway as tier 1 falls in solo. He had to either go there or go by the XP camp opening by that rock to blue. He picked the rock, he picked the XP camps, did not see them walk in, and boom, Agni was in like that and picked up a double kill. It was a 50-50, he just took the wrong guess. There's nothing he could really do.
I do not think I saw Agni Bomb hit less than 2 people every time he threw that out.
Cupid has no Aegis here, he's in a lot of trouble. TP forced out from Ardio. Janus also expended.
They're chasing the Cupid. That
Keep it moving,
Kumba
ball
gets the
down.
kill, but he might die
They're,
himself
they're
for it.
investing a lot into Kumba. They're investing a lot. That's Thor ult too. Sobek is still very healthy. Expo ult used.
That's a trade I'm willing to take. Carry for support any day.
I don't know. I think it's gonna
Ardio's
be
in
more
danger.
than that. Yeah.
Oh.
They overinvested too much into the Kumba, and now they're gonna lose the T1, and they lose another member. So overall, 2-for-1 trade and a T1. Definitely favoring our coach's AFK. Gold Fury's coming up.
Agni's being a little bit dangerous.
With
Okay,
Gold
he's
Fury
getting
coming
out.
up and the 3v5, no Thor ult, no Janus ult available. This is almost a free Gold Fury.
Duo Towers taking a lot of damage. Might go down. Oh, it goes down.
And they'll pick up gold for free, and they'll disengage off of this. Right now, Kraken has got to put the brakes on. They've got to think about this. They've got to reevaluate. They've got to pick smart fights. And
There are
by
many
that,
fights here. If they just disengage, the losses would be a lot less.
the problem is that people are being caught out, and it's forcing ultimates out. It's not. They're not choosing to use their ults in these situations. There's situations that are coming up where they don't simply have a choice in the matter.
They're reacting, not putting the pressure on. And I mean, that's a situation you just don't want to be in. When the enemy team dictates what you have to do, you're in a bad place.
Exactly, and especially with ults like a Thor ult and a Cupid ult. Those are offensive tools. And putting them on the back foot saying, you will ult in this fight or I will kill 2 people is exactly what Coach's AFK wants to do right now.
And I mean, you have to admit, while Cupid has a lot of area that he can cover, his is a little bit more defensive than Thor's, right? Thor, it almost has to be offensive. It's very difficult to use that on the defensive unless you're being proactive.
Yeah, generally, if you're defensively Thor ulting, you are going to be in a situation where you obviously ult. A fight's about to break out here in mid.
Putting pressure on the Xbalanque, putting wards down. So lots going on.
Ooh, Thor saves his Magi's with that stun. Ardio's going in. Ganesh ult is out. Thor's up.
They're investing a lot into this Ardio.
Sobek is sneaking around the back. Sobek is going to zone them. That's the Janus portal down.
And he has ult.
Thor has no ult. Thor Aegis forced out. Expo ult. Thor's dead to rights here. Yep, Thor will fall. Fields of Love used. Hits one. That Agni dash clips Sobek.
Sobek's in the back.
Flipsy in the back. Finishes out Ardio.
That was a nice shell on Sobek, saving him.
Ganesh goes down to Agni.
Oh, Janus might die here.
This will be the first fire giant of the game.
I like that. They don't go for the tower. They just go back at the safe fire, right?
That was a great pincer move. You have the pincer by Jeximus up top. Then you have Flipsy coming from below, sandwiching them effectively in between. So, TP's used by Sobek to make sure he can get here and zone out this fire giant.
And it's not like you could ignore the Sobek damage.
You can't. No, not even his damage. He will position you to where you literally just don't want to be. He'll force you to respect him in that manner.
And it's very difficult to beat a pluck sometimes, especially in the middle of a team fight, right? And you don't want to be thrown into the middle of the enemy team, especially as a Janus and or a Cupid.
So right now, it looks like Kraken's just going to farm up what they can before the siege starts. Ideally, Coach is going to finish out this right tower. They're going to spend their gold. Then they're going to push up mid, and then they'll siege left.
I would like a Pyro pickup first. Make it a little bit more speedy to get to lane, and that gold is always helpful.
Just looking through builds real quick. I really love this Agni build. This Magus and this Shard cannot be said how much damage this combination is doing. Let's pull up the player damage charts real quick.
And I believe he's going to be going into a Soul Reaver as well, which procs on every single one of them.
Agni's sitting at 15k damage right now. If you're Janus right now, Zoel, what would you be itemizing into to kind of, make the most of the limited amount of gold you have for this siege?
I don't like the spear he has. I'd prefer something cheaper, right? Maybe even a ruin. Sorry, what is it? I can't remember the name of the item. or a defensive item. Like, with the enemy Neja being that aggressive, right, pushing you out that many times, I would have not mind an Elo helm at all.
Oh, Celestial Legion helm, yeah. I mean,
You know, those stacks are very effective.
just the downfall is that Maul went a very, very expensive build, and it didn't pay off this game.
And he has limited penetration too. It's only 20, correct?
Yeah, it's very limited pen. He has because he has he has 10 from boots, and then he picks up an additional 15 from spears. There's 25 total penetration. I mean, he does a lot of damage to backline characters, but the only issue is
it's hard for him to get there. I mean, he has limited range as is, and then
he also has no answer for tanks
at all. Like that, the next one has to be Obsidian Shard, right? Like, he has to pick that up at this point because the tanks are making his life miserable.
Also, it's very cost effective for what you get out of it.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Starts at 10% penetration, goes all the way up to 33.
Yeah, no, I think it goes up. No, it goes to a 15% minimum, I believe.
15 to 40.
Yeah, 15 to 40.
And I mean, all the tanks on the enemy side of the field are very tanky at this point, right?
Well, let's not forget we have auras coming out now. Sov is out. I mean, we might see a late Heartward, maybe out of a space or something like that, and that will definitely increase the effectiveness of Agni's Shard. But for for the limited amount of gold coming out, I really don't think you could go wrong with picking up the Shard for the Janus also.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's itemizing into a Soul Gem. The Soul Gem helps because you have a lot of magical power already. Granted, the penetration's obviously affected by it, but here's a siege coming in again. They're looking to finally siege their first Phoenix here. Magi's popped on Thor. Thor's being forced into the fight. There's a portal. Thor ult forced defensively.
Ult.
That's
and he's
gonna be
low
hard.
too. He has to back out. They can aggress here.
Thor ult is forced. The only problem is they have one wave here in mid, and right now they're struggling to get in.
Oh, but that Janus ult does a lot of damage.
Fields of Love is used. Sobek is caught behind the wall with the Fields of Love.
That's a good defense. Using those so effectively to
that was an amazing wall into that Fields of Love. Team 6, though, not phased. They're smart. You know what? We're done. We'll fight another day. We're going home. We'll regroup. We'll get the next Fire Giant. We'll make you suffer. We siege without fire. That was our mistake. It's not going to happen again. And that's what they're doing right now. Thor's coming up. Thor's playing very aggressive.
I mean, he can afford to with how fast he is and his okay defenses. They could definitely be better. But, enough to survive a couple hits, right? And that CC immunity from the Magi's really helps. I believe he's letting it pop too often, sort of like his enemy Bakasura back in the day. But, he's been safe so far, getting out with his ultimate, wasting it true, but surviving.
There's some poke being exchanged over here. We have Kumba took a little bit of poke, but he'll be fine. He's backing, I'm assuming, to pick up wards. His back interrupted. And now Space is taking some poke in return.
I think it was just a bait.
Yeah. Look at
Because
Agni.
if he was backing, he'd go somewhere where the enemy can't see him, making it so that his back wouldn't be taken advantage of.
Agni's positioning around the back. He's waiting for that Janus to get into position. He's waiting for that Janus. He's forced out defensively.
It looks like Ganesh is all by himself.
Oh, the Cupid ult!
Oh!
Off the nerf. That was a great Naja ult on that Cupid.
Effective communication, too. It was immediate.
That was huge! Big Thor ult! They're trying to turn this. Ardio's gonna get out. Ardio's out. Flips is coming around the back. Agni 8 is forced out. The Thor spin is good. Thor is actually plucked the safety. Flipsy takes down Ganesh. And that'll be a disengage. That was a very impressive fight from Kraken, especially how badly this started for them. It's not over yet, though.
Janus is locked down, takes a lot of damage.
He'll get out. Ardio and them will just, they'll just smack at each other a bit and they'll walk away.
that cripple being very effective at peeling, making it very difficult for the Sobek to pluck, right? It's impossible in fact, unless like somehow you backstep.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the sash is considered a movement ability.
Yeah, you can sash. So basically, now what we're looking at is fires up. Again, it comes down to word and vision control and getting a pick. Coach's AFK had a great pick. That was a great ult by Flipsy. But then the Thor of massive 3-man Thor ult into through space and time. You literally shotgunning Biohazard, turn that fight back to a 50-50.
I like this. Even though our coach's AFK has been dominant most of the game, Optimal Kraken is not letting it phase them. They're fighting correctly, right? A pick happens, they return with a Thor ult into a Janus ult, right? Evening out the score, making it a lot harder for our coach's AFK to get a clean win.
We have another skirmish around the Fire Giant. Ardio's taking about 10% health. Janus ult is used. Thor ult also expended. Ganesh ult also used. That's all the major team fighting ults down from Kraken. This is Six's fight if they want to take it. Flipsy takes down one. Ardio's down. Cupid ult used.
Oh my god. X-Ball dies.
Oh, the Ganesh ult right off the mark. Janus is caught. Janus is in a really bad spot here. He gets out. Panda will fall. Thor's caught. He has hammer. Hammer's rooted. Great root from Ganesh. That was a great root. I mean, from Kumbhakarna. That was a great root from Kumbhakarna.
And a nice interrupt from Jeximus, right?
Yeah.
Because that root does not cripple, so you can still teleport.
Great CC chains coming out from the front line of teams that get knocked up by the Fire Giant here. They should still be able to secure this pretty easily.
One concern I have is on our coach's AFK, their Shipalake died before putting out his ultimate, right? Which made the team the fight a lot easier to win. That ultimate makes it almost impossible to team fight in that situation.
Exactly, and what had happened was the fight was initiated with the globals out of Kraken, and possibly Biohazard felt that, we're in a relatively safe situation here, and then he got hit with that Fields of Love and immediately was killed.
And then he was mezzed, and then that Fire Giant finished him off. What I've liked to see from him is recognizing the situation he was in and just doing it before he died. Because honestly, that would have just made it so the enemy team had to reconsider what they were going through and probably died in that situation. I have to admit, though, these Fields of Love from Cupid, very effective. Right? Hitting 2 to 3 people or one person and killing him. It's too bad that Fire Giant isn't on Biohazard, but, Shipalake has enough damage.
The siege is going to start. So, Thor is going, again, we're seeing the jungle start to kind of flank around and pressure that opening. Naja's ready. Naja's waiting for it. He's covering the option. He's going to push up mid. Naja is going to push up mid to create pressure on the Thor. Thor can't... Oh. Let's see if anything happens out of this. 1 bomb down. 5th of Audio's health gone. 2 bombs down.
Nothing for that second one.
So the Naja is going to create the pressure in mid lane. And by doing that, it's going to... the Thor can't hang around in between lanes. He has to commit somewhere. And that's a really good way to stop that without directly engaging on it.
Our coach as AFK has good ward coverage too.
That's a great pluck on the Ardio. Ardio's in a lot of trouble here. Fields of Love used to save him. Not the Thor ult was huge. X-Ball's down again.
Janus ult hits 2 people.
These Thor ults have been so impactful. That's a great defense.
Killing 2 people, Biohazard and Jeximus, right? A tank and a carry. Granted, the carry didn't have Fire Giant, right? But still, he is the main Phoenix damage. It's going to be very hard to put pressure on those Phoenixes.
Thor's slowly working his way back up the player damage charts now. He's currently sitting in 3rd, it looks like.
Yes,
Naja
the only
Sash.
red among
Oh,
blue.
Panda is very... Panda out of position, trying to secure that speed buff that was spawning. He's caught out.
Ganesh is in a very similar... He's going to get out just fine.
So what they're doing that's very smart, our coaches AFK, is they're not... They understand they lost the siege over there, but they're not about to sit there and give you back your speed, give you back control of the game. They're waiting. They're going to punish you if you come up. They're saying, yes, you defended the Phoenix, but by no means are you back in this game. You're still playing defense duty. And that's an example right there. Panda is in a situation he almost certainly can't get out of. Unfortunately, Aegis and Beads. So those are down for that next team fight coming up.
That team fight's going to be very hard for it because I guarantee our coach's AFK has recognized that fact and is like, we need to focus out this Cupid. Right? Killing him nice and quick with the... with ults, right? Either a stun or a Kumba ult.
Honestly, even a stun into a double tap is going to put him into almost the threshold where he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
Our coach's AFK has all their ults up for this Fire Giant fight, right? I would have liked some earlier warding. I don't like how spread out they are right now. I feel right now is the time to take advantage, ward deep into the enemy's jungle, right? Ward the Fire Giant, making sure you have control of that area.
They do have one ward up there by the XP camps. Now, it looks like they're looking to catch out Thor here. Thor Magi's popped again.
It's a nice, quick Magi's, right? Putting pressure on...
Flipsy committing on this fight. Janus ult forced out defensively. Janus will get out. And... So, Janus ult gone. Janus bead down. That is another big pick. Kraken has got to respect that they cannot go into the jungle. This jungle is no longer theirs. Fire spawning very soon, and now you have no Janus ult and no beads on 2 carries.
It's a very dangerous position to be in. Our coach is AFK, staying here, you know, making sure they get the speed and the wards.
Ganesh is
split up from the rest.
Thor is up. Fields of Lover used.
That's Ninja.
Flipsy's up in the air. Flipsy takes out the Janus. Perfect capitalization off of that.
Sobek ult being used on the 2 tanks, slowing them down.
Out again.
It's a kill on space.
Thor's plucked back in.
Mezzed, beads, and sank.
That wall definitely saved Thor right there from getting collapsed on after that. Right now, this right Phoenix is going to be pressured. It's going to be immensely hard to keep this intact with no Janus and no solo laner.
Our coach is AFK, winning that fight nice and cleanly. It was an effective peel from Kumbhakarna as well, peeling or mezzing the Thor so that he couldn't go in on the kill on Agni. Which, I mean, Agni, very squishy still, right? Thor can still get on him and then spin to win. That's going to be all your health. Very quick Fire Giant. And he doesn't have any response.
So I'm just looking up the net worth charts here, and you can see the amount of pressure that our coach has applied on mid lane. Papa Maul is still not full build 40 minutes into the game as a mid laner.
Part of that, I think, is because he had a very expensive build. And he still does. Notice he doesn't have any percentage pen. He's going into Soul Reaver. I mean, he has the potential to sell to the Spear of Desolation, but I mean, I don't know. I don't particularly love Soul Reaver on Janus. I know why people build it. It's very effective for the burst, makes killing tanks very easy. My problem is, in this build, I'd have much preferred to see penetration and then sell like the Spear of Desolation for Soul Reaver. As a mid, what do you think? What do you think he should have done there?
I mean, I would have had the shard. I'm not a big fan of Desolation on the Janus, and also just by looking through the build, you have 40% CDR, but the problem comes down to is you could have a shard and a purple pot, and you'll also have 40% CDR.
Yes, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I almost never build 40% penetration on characters anymore, specifically because of that pot.
Well, I mean, granted, like the one thing that you could say about his build is his Fight Breaker Expo ult is used relatively early. Ganesh ult also used. Wow, huge Janus ult. That's what I was about to say. If he hits a squishy, you are deleted with that build.
This fight going very poorly for coach's AFK.
Papa Maul single-handedly was won that fight for them with that ult.
Hitting
And
two
Thor
people,
came in to clean
correct?
everything up. He hit the Agni with a huge ult, and then he cleaned up Flipsy after. Portal drop, he's down. Sobek is in a world of trouble here. You are not outrunning Janus. The Mez, that was such a good Mez.
Covering the options, knowing that if he hides behind here, walking in as they all try to cut in, he can mez at least two of them, right?
So,
Making it very hard to pressure on his team.
so you got the good news and you got the bad news. Good news, Optimal Kraken. If you're Optimal Kraken or you're a coach, friend, whatever, signs of life. You're out here, you just got your Gold Fury. Your right Phoenix will be coming up soon. Bad side, your far side Phoenix just went down. It's going to be very hard to contest fire and actually mount an offense to actually get something off the game. The good news is that Janus is one of the few guys who effectively can defend the far side and contest the Fire Giant.
That ult being very effective at moving his team around, making it very easy to push out and then go into Fire Giant. That passive giving his team movement speed and, him extra damage. So it looks like our soul laner is picking up purple. Or, and I like that. The extra penetration can be very helpful. And does he need the extra CDR is a question.
He's at 40% already.
So no, he does not. I like it. I like the extra penetration. Makes it very easy for him to push out squishies, right? Makes it a little bit harder for tanks to deal with him. Granted,
Thor ult is forced defensively again. Oh, and through space and time. This is we're definitely gonna see a full commit to this Phoenix. This is a big fight right here coming up. Expo ult used. Right Phoenix falls in seconds. Cupid beads force. Oh, Cupid is blown up. That Agni's just doing so much damage. They're all in on the Titan. Sobek ults on the Titan.
this could be potentially risky.
This might. I think they might have it here.
They have it.
Game. GG. Team 6 takes game 1. Great pressure all game. Kept it up. They sieged. They had trouble. They lost sieges. They sieged again. They did not break in morale. They came back with a plan, executed the plan, got the picks. That was a really well put together game by Coach AFK. What do you do right now if you're Kraken? What's the plan?
Well, my plan would be realizing we were losing the entire time, but even though we were losing, we had really good team fights, right? We stunned and killed multiple people on defense, right? So I'd be like, okay, Papa Maul, what do you need to make the most effect on a team fight, right? An ult that can absolutely destroy people. Because we saw Papa Maul, while had those really nice snipes on Janus, right? But Janus ult is not as effective as, say, a Kraken in the middle of the team, right?
100%.
Or an Apple from Discordia. So I'd be like, okay, what do you need, Papa Maul? And then I'd go to my jungle line and be like, what do you need to make it so that Papa Maul hits his stuff every single time, right? We already know that Cupid is good, right? He has his Cupid. Ganesha, very good at clearing that out. I'd be like, okay, my support and my ADC, it's good, right? The only place I'd be looking really hard is jungle and mid lane, right? I want the most effect from these two people as possible, prioritizing them above even the Cupid, in my opinion.
MVP for game 1?
So hard. I mean, Flipsy had a lot of effect, right? But I kind of feel like Papa Maul kept his team there, right? Vigil as well with those, stuns that my only problem with choosing Vigil is he got caught out a bunch, so I have to give it to Papa Mal.
You're giving the losing team MVP.
I mean, the way I see it is the losing team, while, he was on the back foot the entire time, he still turned a lot
He
of team
played
fights.
very well. 100%. Papa Mal, hats off, regardless. Played very, very well. I have to give it to Flipsy, though, because honestly, Flipsy created the situations for this to happen. He put the team in the driver's seat. He got the important picks. He forced a lot of relics. Not only that, but there's two critical moments where the he ults the Cupid after he catches him out, kills him, and then he ults the Janice a couple minutes later and kills him. I have got to give it to Flipsy. He played a great game. Papa Mal, hats off to him too, definitely. Great games from both. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be back with game 2. Yeah. And we're back with game 2. Currently, our coach's AFK is up game 1. Now, we didn't get to see the draft really because of the way it loaded through. Went halfway through. We didn't get to really see the top bands or anything like that. So, real quick, we have. Look at this. It looks like Jaximus is actually positioning to harass the enemy speed.
That's an interesting choice. Now, I feel after the last game that Optimal Kraken is going to be very aware of potential invades, right? That first blood on Flipsy was very effective. So if I were Optimal Kraken, I'd be looking for that sort of thing right now. Now on Order side, Optimal Kraken, they have I feel a very strong team fight. One thing I have to note though is that Rat did not go the early invade start, right? He can't go in and gank level 1 with that tier 2 Acorn. Question is, does the enemy team know it?
So we have to make sure everyone kind of see in the chat. Make sure everyone knows blue team is Optimal Kraken, red team is our coach's AFK. So we do have a harassment on the speed, like I said, like I figured.
Okay. It looks like Vendril got it just fine.
I mean, that's fine, because Kuzubo's going to have the pressure in the lane anyway, so this is kind of just like that little bit of a gamble. Unfortunately, Kuzubo's not going to get any wave XP or any blue XP.
It's going to be very risky. I mean, granted, the Athena level 2 isn't as dangerous as, say, an Artio level 2, but, still, the enemy being one level up is not good for any solo laner.
Ooh, the dash in mid was a... I mean, he still gets it, but it didn't catch as many minions as early. So at level 2 advantage still to the Agni. Raiju picked up at level 2, so important to note he does not have Thunder Crash.
Very risky with Odin, right? That bird bomb doing a lot of damage early. I believe it's 200 or 210.
Mids are going to go the way of AFK as well.
Okay. Nothing really happening in duo.
Some pressure going on. Gank and duos forming. Flipsy's behind them. Bird bomb is good. Kumbhakarna's at half. Ooh, if Flipsy committed to that gank, it's still going to be first blood. We got first blood over here in duo lane. First
on
blood
a Shibalake.
On the X-Ball. Great job. Great gank.
Once again, you don't want that Shibalake with early kills.
216. What are you at,
218.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm about 4 seconds ahead of you.
Let's pause for 3 seconds, though. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3. Unpause. All right, so 231, 32, 33. All right.
Now, I don't particularly like Odin in jungle anymore, specifically since the tank meta left. What's your thoughts on the subject?
The Odin gives a lot of pressure. For example, traditionally, yes, it's not as common anymore. It is more popular and competitive like this. It gives really good pressure against that Kumba Cupid lane. They can't get out. Rat has to ult out, and Athena has to ult out. So, and also you have a great way to disrupt and do damage inside that cage. X-Ball ult into a Kuzenball ult, which will stun with a movement ability. If a gank and duo, it looks like they're just gonna part ways. A little bit of poke on the RDO, nothing major. Vindrill's gonna go heal up off of red now.
One thing I'd like to note is the fact as soon as that gank started, right, our coach's AFK, their mid and jungle started immediately heading in that direction. Gave up the red, just heading straight there. Now, if something had actually happened, I feel they would have had the numbers advantage, and that could have been dangerous for Optimal Kraken. A little bit of poke going onto this, onto Optimal Kraken, specifically Papa Maul. That's 3, I believe, bombs down on
Solo
Agni.
kill on Jackson Miss over there. Picks up space. The ult is used. Great pressure in the lane. It's very hard for Athena to really do anything in this kind of matchup this early. Let's not forget, he started out half a level down at least because he didn't get any XP from his blue or wave. Great play by Jackson Miss.
One thing you just, I mean, like, and just in solo lane, your job is to not be soloed. Like that's one of your only jobs, getting to late game. Unfortunately, against a Kuzenbo, it's very difficult. That push can do a lot of damage. He has a lot of early pressure, and Athena doesn't have any real way of contesting that, in my opinion.
No, she's gonna get bullied out. She goes to clear. She can hit the wave, group it together, shield wall it, then she can get shoved through minions. It's very hard, as we see right here. Kuzenbo is just bullying her out.
And it's just gonna get harder with her being a kill down. Looks like they're going on an early gank onto solo lane. Gonna try to invade that blue, it looks like. Nope, he gets it.
He'll get out with relative safety here. Yeah. Oh, he's on his way, though. Not him. On their way.
Could be kill
Holding
potential
that
on these
dash
two.
was very smart by Jaximus there. It's going to guarantee this rat's going to die. And her stack on the Odin passive.
Very good response.
Great job baiting and delaying things, then turning, getting the Odin stack on the passive, and rotation where there'll be no punishment. Maul's clearing mid. Agni's going to get his wave. Nothing came from that negatively. And they're pressuring red. Pumbaa ults had to be used to peel the Raijin. Raijin ult in response.
Raijin ult doing a lot of damage, but I mean they're gonna get their red just fine.
Again,
Rat ult as well.
Rat ult? Oh, Rat ult just short.
Stunned. Spin to win. Rat might die here.
No, I don't think so. The backup's coming here. Odin has got to drop those backhamps and get in here. RDO's going to go down here. RDO goes down. Extended engagement winds up going in Kraken's favor off of Coach's aggression.
If they had just backed out after they got that rat to go away, they would have been fine. I mean, the numbers advantage, you know, it's a huge advantage at this point in the game, right? Having one or two people extra there can quadruple the damage at least and add a whole bunch of CC. Especially when we're talking about Kumbhakarna with his mez. This game being a little bit slower than the first, which kind of started off with a bang.
Agni goes to the same build he went last game, favoring that early Magus Rush, and puts out a lot of damage early. Raijin and Agni, two gods that are great at this starting style and build.
Another thing is, like, considering how much the supports are in mid, right? It's almost a must. You have to have early penetration.
Also, it's very cost effective.
Yeah, so what is it, 2,100 gold?
2150, yeah.
2150.
Dina's being ganked. Let's see how she responds.
That cage going
Challenge
up.
the ult.
Oh.
Just interrupted. Not enough time.
Those early stacks on Odin are very important for Odin jungle. As someone who plays it often, you know, that extra power can be a lifesaver, especially early game. It gives you more shield and more damage.
Our coach is doing a very good job. That's a joke that's now completed for Flipsy. They're doing a very good job in pushing that gas pedal. They realize that we have a very good damage-based core. Rat ult is up. Rat's looking for Agni. Agni dashes in time. And
This rat,
Rat's caught out.
Ah, dead rat.
Oh, Rat is just instantly blown up by the damage from that bird bomb. Wow.
Forcing out Papa Mal's ult 2 to try to peel away, but it's not enough.
Again, we're seeing Kraken fall into that same pattern of throwing out ults to help. You know, sometimes...
Not what you want to do.
Voidstone done for Kuzenbo. He is at the point now where he is very hard to deal with in the lane.
Just bullying you, pushing through the minions. Now, as Odin, what do you want to be doing in this position? Personally, I feel like he should be pressuring duo lane, right? Right, getting that Cupid, making it so he can't escape, wasting that ult. Putting that
100%.
Cupid behind, because Cupid behind is not good. It's very hard to do anything. Your ult is just there to slow people down.
Additionally,
they're going on the Athena again, shutting her down even more. Flipsy once again on a killing spree. 3 kills, 0 deaths, and 1 assist.
There's so much lockdown on that team. And going back to your question about where the Odin should be, this is working out, because as long as he keeps the level advantage and stays even and ahead in gold, there's 0 physical protection coming out of that Athena right now. I mean, I guess you could argue, you know, you have 5 from the Guardian's Blessing, but, you know, she's very easily killed, and it's not like a slow burn kind of kill. It's an instant 100-0, you're dead. And she has no time to channel the ult. It looks like a Rat ult coming in over here. Rat comes down. Ardio caught out.
Ardio.
Great X-Ball ult, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Ardio's going to fall here. Kraken returns a kill left side of the map.
One little thing to note there is Kumbhakarna ulted, right, and got the Ardio out of the Fields of Love, right? Do you think that's miscommunication, or, you know, they started?
I think it was just a miscommunication in timing, yeah. I think he probably wanted to off the mez, he probably wanted to ult from the Cupid ult, and he, a little bit mistiming. Right now,
a little bit of damage.
Flipsy has Coach has a perfect opportunity here not to pressure the Gold Fury. All ults are down for Kraken. No Athena ult. No way to stop this.
It looks like they're going to do what you said. Putting pressure on this Kumbhakarna. Kumba might die here. I believe his dash was caught. That's
also their sprint out. 3 bombs from Agni, though.
I mean, those bombs have a very short cooldown.
Now they can pressure the Gold Fury here. Are we going to see it?
It looks like they're getting the gold. Let's hope they don't do what they did last game, putting too much damage on one player, and then it turned very bad for them.
Rat's going to be here to contest. He's not in time. Rat's zoned out. Rat has to leave.
First real lead of the game.
This shows a smart, you know, they're functioning, you know, like a hive mind. Immediately, if they know the 5 ults are down, they lose one of their own. They respond, pressure the Gold Fury. We could do gold. They have no ults. There's no Athena coming. There's no help. And at that point, it's an easy win.
It's very clean. This is what we want to see at this level of play, right? I'll notice though, Raijin still hasn't died once, and nor has their Cupid, right? The 2 carries haven't died, played very safe. Kuzumo looks like he might be in trouble. He's getting out just fine.
And the carries have played
Odin.
Odin's going to gank the Cupid again.
But the ward coverage saved.
Where the ward saved him by purple. Yep.
But Odin might be in trouble here. That's a big collapse on Odin. Honestly, with this much cooldown, I'd be ulting and running away. Oh.
Kumba ult. 2 ults on the fear Odin. Down. That's the fear. Flipsy ult. Last second. It's enough to get him out. Rat's going after him, though. Maybe he's
Shield
not
saves
out.
him.
Rat's out of mana. That is
Oh,
a lot committed onto Odin. Now we look at the Pyromancer. If our coach is AFK, they're actually returning tower in mid. In return, they're taking T1 tower in mid. This opens up Pyro and future golds for free. This is a very, very, very high IQ play from them. This is great play from coach's AFK.
and the trust they have on this man, right? It's like, okay, if you die, you're going to spend at least enough time for us to get this mid, right?
Yeah.
You don't need the help. And he got out, and the trust, you know, it was well earned.
Athena got a little bit pressured there to just to quickly make a decision. That Arya was actually out of mana and could not kill her.
I mean, that mental pressure. Red's going down. And Xbalanque gets out clean. Doesn't look like they're going to have the timer on it. Kumba's the one that cleared the last minion. I was about to comment about how there's not been as much pressure on the Reds this game, but I guess it's starting now.
Absolutely. It's the part in the game where you need to address the situation. We're losing team fights flat out. We're being outplayed on the map. They're playing the map. We're not playing the map well. What do we need to do? We need to ward objectives. We need to pick a priority target. Pick someone that's realistically killable. You're not killing Odin if he has his ult up. It's not going to happen.
And if you are, you're going to have to invest a lot doing it. Right? And it might not be worth it at that point. If you spend 4 ultimates on an Odin, right, who's going to come up in 17, 20 seconds, and then the enemy team responds for a mid tower, like, that's worth.
Right now, you could get away with it. You know, you have a little bit of opportunity. You've already lost the important things, and other things are down. But in a minute, that's not going to be the case, because in a minute, you won't have enough time, because the goal fear is going to be back up in a little over a minute.
Let's look at the graph, see what's happening. XP difference and gold difference pretty high. About 5,000 in each, it looks. 5,300. You know, our coach is AFK having strong control of this game, dictating how it's going to go, right? And when they're on the receiving end, they take something for it.
Exactly. That's the big thing, is that they're making you pick and choose your battles here. And they're letting you know there will be repercussions for the action that you take. And that's exactly how you play high-level Smite.
Xbalanque ult being used. Papa Maul falling to the Odin. Athena getting out. Vigil manages to get the kill on the Agni, but immediately killed in return. Fire Giant, wow.
Pull fire right here. Utter's gonna zone, and there's no answer to this.
I don't even think they know it's happening.
It's very hard to do anything about this in this situation. Cupid uses ult. He's not going to be able to get in there and do anything. Athena is in no shape to go into that Kuzenbo. Right now, you're in a situation where you're going again on the defensive. Now the question becomes, do you defend tier 2s or not? The tier 1 in duo has to be let go. Do you contest gold? That's another hard question to ask. Do you contest gold down 7,000 gold with them having fire?
If you contest gold, you have to contest tier 2, in my opinion.
Well, they're not in position to defend this tier 2, so they're going to lose
not this one. No, but I mean, the other two, they can set up for it. And if they're willing to defend gold, they have to be willing to defend tier 2. Our coach is AFK, just taking the farm away, very clean, right? Getting out, not spending too much time, getting something every time they do something. It looks like they're going to have to give up tier 2 because Papa Maul's clearing, right? And you cannot defend without your big mage team fight ult.
And that was definitely a team collective call, it looked like. Not getting that tower in left, though, or pressuring it. Anything to slow them down within reason is fine.
I feel the risk of putting pressure on that tier 1 where I don't It looks like he probably would have gotten it, but the risk of a gank not being able to get out in time is very dangerous, especially without ward coverage.
I think that comes down to, though, your team accounting for where the enemy is. If they could confirm eyes in the mid lane, I don't think it was that risky. He only had to auto it a few times for the minions to finish it off. But now now most likely we're gonna see them take the tier 2 in duo, and then they're gonna go to gold 3 and they're gonna reset. That's typically, you know, the what happens in these kind of situations. Let's see what they elect to do. And it looks like they're going for the gold
confirming their lead. And they must have a lot of gold in pocket too. So I have to.
Oh, they have a ton, yeah. We can take a look at gold in hand. Yeah, we're talking about two members over 3K.
No one lower than 2,000.
Yeah.
An extra 3,000 lead. Rat looks like he invaded the speed and is probably going to die for it. Odell goes down. I feel that's a win. You know? Rat Blink for not much. Win. You don't want that Rat Blink into your backline.
Yeah. It was a very good play from Kraken, though, taking that pyro. Just take what you can get where you know the enemy's not. Literally, it comes down to fight your enemy where he's not, right? Sun Tzu 101.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what
Especially when you're behind like this.
Yeah.
Too much candy cane.
Optimal Kraken has good control of wards on the Fire Giant, but I'm not sure if they can contest it right now, being this far behind. Shibalanke has red, and traditionally we see it on the mages simply because mages have bigger numbers. But this Shibalanke, like late game,
yeah, they also could be looking into it though for the fact that they're going to be sieging and DPSing objectives, and they feel that the X-Ball can do more with it.
Mm-hmm. One thing we probably should have noted is that was the enemy red buff that the Shibalanke has, and the Agni just picked up his own. Looks like Optimal Kraken is on the left side of the map while fire is being set up for. Rat is by himself, but he has a very safe way of getting out. Rat's a very safe character.
I mean, this comes down to, this is your tournament life. You give up the Fire Giant. You don't take this fight. 3-man taunt, but there's just no follow-up. There was no one in range to follow up on that. Athena's going to die for this now. Space falls. Kumbhakarna is in a lot of trouble. Phantom used. Oh, that's their Phantom as well.
They can't defend Fire Giant. It's done. Like, there's no team fight ult. Both of them were used to cover for an escape. Our coach's AFK has good ward control. They know when the enemy's going to come in. They have good tanks to peel, right? You cannot ignore the damage from these tanks right now. They're a couple levels up. Looks like Rat is looking. Rat has to make a decision. Retreat.
Yeah, they're going to give it up. Coming around the backside to steal, though, with Acorn Blast, maybe.
Oh, very risky.
He's been spotted out.
Rat between two tanks. Athena comes in with her ultimate.
Fire Giant's doing a lot of damage right now, though, to people. And it is secured. That's a 1-for-0. Agni picks up the Rat. Space will fall again. 3-for-0. Kumba's in passive. And Raijin Aegis forced out. Agni dash. I don't think he can get away.
Potential.
I think Odin can catch him. There's no way he gets away with that passing.
Oh.
He's down. This looks like this is going to be pretty grim. It's going to be up to Panda now to hold this.
He needs to choose his fight at the Titan.
Kraken's tournament life is in jeopardy right now. Very good stun cancel. Forces out the Aegis. That looks
That all
like
going
they could.
down.
The
Nope,
ult's
it's
not enough. I think this is
not
going to be
enough.
game.
He gets a kill, but it's not enough to save the Titan.
Congratulations, coaches. AFK is going to the Season 2 Smite Little League Finals. Kraken played a great set. They played really hard. Great adjustments from game 2, from game 2 from game 1. But unfortunately, the sheer amount of pressure from Flipsy in the jungle. Like game 1, it was contested who could be MVP. But I think it's easily Flipsy this game.
Flipsy easily. He's just all over the place. I mean, he was level 20 before everybody else, right? 8, 0, and 3, 14,000 gold, right? Higher than the rest of his team. His Odin ults, always useful, putting a lot of pressure on solo, and when he went to duo, he usually got a kill. I mean, the man did not die at all.
He played very well. There was times where he even dragged out, chases on him so they could pick up mid towers. That is very high level play that you don't see teams that are in Diamond even do.
And it just shows how much they've learned in this set and how much they trust each other to do things like this. Because like I pointed out earlier, anything that happened to their team, the AFK just responded almost immediately. It was like touching one person and having them slap you away.
Every single time there was an answer. You want to lock down our RDO, expend ult and kill her? We're going to do Gold Fury. You want to chase Odin? We'll take mid tower. There was no explanation that Kraken could come up with that would actually work in any realistic way. Like it was not close. They
and
played
I have to say,
very
I
well.
feel that Kraken, they were starting to feel the pressure in that game. Little mistakes started to build up, right? And it started to be really hard on them. It was hard for them to defend. They were using ults defensively to push off and save people, right? And like we referenced in game 1, that's not what you want to do, especially with a Cupid ult, right? And I mean, Raijin ult, good for peel, but even better for damage.
Well, they found right away. They found out once Jeximus got that solo kill in solo that they could exploit that lane. It was a matchup where Jeximus felt he can create situations for ganks repeatedly. And that's what happened. That's where Flipsy got this lead from. Then a very impressive ganking duo also early in the game. That comes to the first blood for Biohazard to pick up. And
yes, and very strong. And I mean, always, Xbalanque is always good from ahead, right? You want him to get to late game where he can do the most he can.
Overall, though, good set. Great season from Optimal Kraken. My team played them multiple times. They're a great team. Really good group of guys. Team 6, or, our coach's AFK is going to be moving on until tomorrow's finals. We wish them the best of luck. As far as I know, I think that's all from us for tonight. And then I guess we'll see everyone tomorrow.